I was not expecting I would catch a shark. I mean, it doesn't want to be held by me. And so it wriggled free from my hand. And then I had a full panic meltdown spaz and was whipping it around.
You had a tiger by the tail.
Yeah.
I have one tattoo, and the girls keep wanting us to get tattoos together.
Okay.
And I like tattoos.
Yeah.
But look at me. Do I look like someone who would be covered in tattoos?
No, and I don't have any, and I think it's because I would look so weird with a tattoo.
Yeah.
There's just something, I don't know. I don't think I could pull it off.
I'm not dangerous enough publicly. My danger
Only
is
in the
private.
privacy
I
of your
am
own
very
home.
privately dangerous. But publicly, I'm very put together.
Yeah.
So to be put together and then have mother on your arm or something, people would be like, that's confusing. I don't understand that.
If you had to, gun to your head, how to get a tattoo, what would you get?
Oh, we're getting one anyway.
Oh, okay. Great.
We're getting a family tattoo, which I love this so much. When Georgia graduated high school, she wanted all four of us to get a family tattoo. And we couldn't figure out what we wanted.
Yeah.
So we were throwing around maybe a baby bird, maybe everybody gets a baby bird, and maybe everybody gets, I don't know, a K or something stupid.
Yeah.
And then this summer, I was like, when I was in kindergarten, she drew a family portrait.
Oh.
The family portrait was a daddy fish, a mommy fish, a sister fish, and an octopus. And I asked her, tell me about this family picture.
What's going on here? Yeah.
And she goes, well, I mean, you and Dad and George are all the same, and I am so different. But we all live in the ocean. So I'm the octopus. And I was like, I love that. So we were floating around in the pool in St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
This in July.
Okay.
And I was like, why don't we each get our own fish that she drew? Find that picture, bring it to a tattoo artist. Bert gets the daddy fish. I get the mommy fish. George gets the sister fish. His sister fish had a bow, and my fish had lipstick on, even though I don't ever wear lipstick. And Bert's, they were all different colors.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was this little bitty tiny purple octopus.
God, I love that.
So I think that's what I would get.
And it's so funny because it's done by a child, but it's so profound where she's like, well, I'm different than everybody, but we're all in the water together. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
It's so deep and sweet.
She's always been that deep thought little girl like that. We wouldn't think so because she's so free-spirited.
Yeah.
And so kind of goofy. And, and then stuff like that profound thing would come out of her mouth all the time where you just go, wow. You just don't think like the rest of the world.
Yeah.
You just think in color and sound as opposed to language and it comes out all of a sudden in this amazing way.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I would get. If you had to gun to your head, what would you get?
Oh God. I mean, it's cliche, but I probably would do something about my mom, maybe her signature, which again, I know a million people have that tattoo, but it's, we don't have to get into it, but she has dementia. And so, in the last few years, it's my time with her has felt so precious. And it's you do start to notice those small things. If I find a book with her signature in it, now that means so much more to me, where before you don't think that much of that stuff. So yeah, I think her signature would be really sweet.
Well, Bert asked me what I was going to talk to you about today. And I wanted to talk to you about your mom. Partly.
Oh, yeah. Sure,
there's so much. I have so much to talk to you about. She caught a shark fishing in Charleston.
I was gonna say,
we have to talk about that. Because that was amazing.
That was so fun.
And we should talk about your mom because she's so present in your Instagram.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I love seeing you with her.
Yeah.
And the love you have for her is so clear.
Oh,
it's crystal clear.
Yeah.
And she's young.
She's young. Yeah.
How old is she?
She's 71.
That's so young.
So young. Yeah. The type of dementia she has is called frontotemporal. It's actually the type that Bruce Willis has as well.
Oh, okay.
And he is also young. And that form of dementia, as opposed to Alzheimer's, hits people a lot younger and it's more rare. So, we had seen some signs of things that seemed a little off maybe 5 years ago, but didn't get a full diagnosis and have that big whoa moment until about 3.5 years ago. And so it's just, It is so crazy because I'm 35, my brother's 30. Like we are all so young to have our mom going through this, and it's just like nothing can prepare you for slowly losing a parent in pieces, but you can still like, I was with her over the weekend in Washington, and it's like, I can still walk in and hug her and I know it's her, but it's not the mom that I grew up with. And she's at a point now where she doesn't always know it's me. And like, that's the most crushing thing. So
I would imagine.
Yeah.
How hard that would be. It's great that you have your brother.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate to have a sibling, and we have a cousin who is also very close with my mom, and she lives in Washington, so she sees her a lot, and that's really great. But yeah, it's like, I love hearing that. Did you say it was Georgia who wanted to get the family tattoos?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that has to feel like such a compliment as a parent, that because I feel like at that age, a lot of kids are kind of like, bye, like don't want to have anything to do with their parents or family. And the fact that she wants to do something that is like lifelong on her body to show how much she loves you guys, that's so cool.
That's an amazing way to put that.
Yeah.
We are really lucky. I don't know how we got so lucky. I think because part of it is nature.
Yeah.
And part of it is nurture.
Yeah.
But it's only partly nurture.
Right.
Yeah. Part of it is how they showed up.
Yeah.
And both of them are really deep, loving, caring, compassionate, good people. I mean, Bert and I are both deep, loving, caring, compassionate people. So I guess it can't be that big of a mystery. But yeah, it is kind of precious to see that they want to spend time with us. They don't want to spend all their time with us, which is good, because we'd be suspicious if my 20-year-old was like, so anyway, what are we doing tonight? Every night I'd be like, go get a life. Yeah. But they have a life.
That's great.
It does, as we are empty nesting and as we have peers who are either having health problems or having parents with serious health problems, it is a jolt sort of to the system to go, life is not forever. This is short.
Yeah.
And it gets a little, I don't want to say scary, but it gets a little unnerving. You're a little unnerved.
Yeah.
By hearing something like your mom going through that at 71.
Yeah.
Are you worried that would happen to you or your brother?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There is a genetic test that you can take, which I want to, but have been dragging my feet on, obviously, because it's like, if you get that information that it's been passed on to you, then it's like, would I be living my life differently? I don't know. I mean, I feel really fortunate that I do what I love for a living. Like, I don't think I've lived in a way where, if I died tomorrow, I would have a bunch of things where I'm like, oh, I wish I would have done that. But yeah, I think we all kind of in the back of our minds picture ourselves being old people someday, like living into our 80s, 90s, whatever. And I had a couple of friends who lost their moms young to cancer. And I told my mom forever, I was like, my biggest fear in life is losing you, because I've been so close with her my whole life. And she'd always go like, I'm going to live to be 100. I'm going to live to be 100. That was always her thing. She just said it so confidently. And it's like, that logically she couldn't guarantee that. But there's something in you, I think it's the little kid in you that just implicitly trusts the parent in that way of like, well, they must know something I don't. And so then to see this happen to her at like such a young age, like so not 100, it puts a little like a glitch in your matrix of that you've just been living life with these assumptions. And then suddenly it's like, oh, okay, this is not at all what I thought was going to happen. And so how can I make the most of this time? So yeah.
It's amazing to have, that's an amazing thing you just shared. It's really, really beautiful. You can apply that to simple things in life, I think. Bert one time came home and he goes, I just saw an Instagram post saying, if you don't live in the same city with your parents and your parents are in their 70s, you'll probably spend about a month of your life with them till the end of their life.
Yes.
And Bert went, no, that's not going to be my path.
Yeah.
And we have seen his parents so much more often since then, purposefully.
Yeah.
We haven't increased our time with my dad. We haven't gotten that in our wheelhouse. We've been Bert has 2 siblings who live here.
Okay.
So it's a little easier to justify his parents coming here. They come here all the time, not just for us, but for my dad has 9 grandkids at home from his stepkids, and he's got a whole big life. It's harder to get him out here.
Got it.
But that's my goal once we get our kids launched, is to spend more time with my dad, because I don't want that to be the truth either. But it is the truth if you just add up, weekend here, Thanksgiving here, Christmas there. It's only a couple months or something that you get to see them for the rest of their life, if you accumulatively.
Yes.
But if you could think about that in your 40s, when your parents are in their 60s, right?
Yes.
And then start applying it then, how much richer your relationship would be with your parents, right?
Absolutely. I've seen that thing that you're talking about, and I do think it really kicked a lot of people right in the teeth, because it was just like, oh shit, you don't do the math in that way. And I don't know if you've seen this, there's a calendar now that I think is gaining popularity, where you can go into a website and determine like what you think you're going to live to be. So let's say you're like, I think I'm going to live to be 89 or something. So it will make a calendar for you that is a dot for every week left of your life.
What?
And it's like a wall calendar, and you're just supposed to every week cross out a dot, but it's supposed to kind of make you get really present with your life and go, oh shit, okay, this is like a representation of actually how many weeks I might have left in my life if I live to be the age I think.
Wow.
So all these things that you're like, well, I'll do that
later.
I'll do that later. I think if somebody's in that position where they're kind of dragging their feet on things, I think it does give them the kick in the ass.
Or they just dig the hole deeper and they go, I'm never gonna make it.
Cry in the fetal position. Yeah, it's also pretty morbid, so it's not for everybody, but
that's not for my brain.
Yeah. That's a really specific thing, but I thought that was kind of fascinating it is something people are doing.
Data.
Yeah.
Data sometimes sucks, doesn't it?
It really does.
The data of, do you have this genetic component your mother has? It's just data. But boy, data can throw you into some kind of emotional reaction, tailspin like nothing else, right?
Yeah, it's nuts. And I don't know if my mom had that data going into her life, if she would have lived differently. I mean, she was like me in the way that she did what she loved. She's like in the Foosball Hall of Fame.
Oh my God, what?
Yeah. So,
there's a Foosball Hall of Fame?
Yeah. It's so insane. But I mean, I've shared this a million times, but my parents met playing in a professional foosball tournament. And then my dad stopped after a while, but my mom went on to like be in the Foosball Hall of Fame. And she's kind of considered like the historian of the sport.
Amazing.
And helped spread it like across the country and all this stuff. So she has really like seized her life in a lot of ways and done things that she wanted to do. But I don't know. I mean, like I think she ate the things she wanted to. And a lot of that was probably like Marie Callender's frozen dinners. And I'm not sure, like looking back, as she was like, well, who knows what that was doing to my health. But I don't know. I think we're all like doing the best we can, but it's fucking hard.
We are doing the best we can.
Yeah.
And you can't live looking at the expiration date. You gotta live for today.
Yeah.
Living in the future causes anxiety. It causes it. You just have to stay here. And if you're here and everything you're doing here is good, then a lot of stuff goes away. The only problem with that I'm finding is I don't really live in the past much either. So I don't remember a lot. I don't have all these like volumes of memories of raising my kids.
Yeah.
Like I have 10 for each kid that are like, ooh, amazing. Bert has like hundreds and hundreds. And I go, I don't know, maybe I feel like I just live so much in the present.
Yeah.
That my brain is full today.
Yeah.
That it has to cull from somewhere.
Yeah.
It can't just hold all of it all the time.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just super limited in my capacity. I have like 2 gigabytes instead of 1 terabyte or whatever. Celebrate more than 100 years of the world's best steak experience with 50% off site-wide during their anniversary sale. Order today at omahasteaks.com and get an extra $30 off with promo code WIFE at checkout. Minimum purchase may apply. Famously fork tender filet mignons, handcrafted and extra aged to maximize tenderness. You'll enjoy big savings on premium pork and chicken, scrumptious sides, and of course, decadent desserts. 5 generations of family-owned expertise means uncompromising quality you can trust. Every steak and every entree is flash frozen, vacuum sealed, and ready to prepare whenever you are. All backed by their unconditional 100% money-back guarantee. Omaha Steaks equals the world's best beef. Naturally aged for the ultimate in tenderness, juiciness, and flavor. I love Omaha Steaks because it shows up at your door in a cooler. It's all frozen. I toss it in my freezer. And in the morning when I wake up, I can pull something out for dinner that night. It's as easy as that. And I'm not joking. Their sides, their one skillet meals, and their desserts are incredible. So, not to mention, obviously, their steaks, but all their other things are great too. Order today at omahasteaks.com and get an extra $30 off with promo code WIFE at checkout. Minimum purchase may apply. That's omahasteaks.com to get an extra $30 off with promo code WIFE at checkout. If you're like me, you probably don't trust your tap water. That's why you've got to check out AquaTrue. AquaTrue purifiers use a 4-stage reverse osmosis purification process, and their countertop purifiers work with no installation or plumbing. It removes 15 times more contaminants than ordinary pitcher filters. It's the same technology used by all the major bottled water brands, but now it's available for your home and without the plastic waste. The filters are affordable and long-lasting. No changing filters every 2 to 3 months. AquaTrue filters last from 6 months to 2 years. Best of all, the water tastes fantastic. We love our AquaTrue filter. It's tucked away on our countertop, and it doesn't take up very much space. It's a nice little sleek design, and it just reminds me to keep drinking water all day. It's like that visual reminder to fill up your water bottle, and we love it. It's super easy to install, too. AquaTrue comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee and even makes a great gift. You got a kid moving to college? Might be a good gift. Today, my listeners receive 20% off any AquaTrue purifier. Just go to aquatrue.com, that's AQUATRU.com, and enter the code WIFE at checkout. That's 20% off any AquaTrue water purifier when you go to aquatrue.com and use the code WIFE. Chad is the cutest thing ever. You guys are adorable together.
Oh,
and what a great guy he is.
He's the best, yeah.
How did you know you were like, okay, that guy? How'd you know that?
Man, he just was so different than so many guys I had seen in my past. It was like, well, first of all, I'd never dated somebody with kids. And I think that automatically put him in this category of like, this is a man. Like, this is an adult. This is somebody who has had to live their life in a way that provides for other people and isn't solely about themselves, which I think it just, and also I think being a girl dad, there's something so great about that. I mean, I have jokes from my special, The Hustler, about how like one of the first times we hooked up, I was on my period and I was a little like, I think a lot of times women are like, oh, I don't know if I want to get into that on our first hookup. And he was like, oh, you're just shedding your uterine lining. And I was like, oh, this is a man who's taken a daughter through puberty. Like, this is a man who's bought tampons for the first time for a daughter. Like, he's just the best. And so just a million things. Obviously, him being comedian, like, he was one of my favorite comedians before I even met him. And just like really as an actions person. And I think that's a little bit of a dying breed. I think words are so easy, but like really showing up and doing things and showing people that you love them is pretty great. So yeah, I could word vomit about him for an hour. So
I could probably help you with that. He's one of my favorite people. When he did my podcast, I learned so much about him. Yeah, and we have a few things in common in that, when you have a parent who's not stable. not mentally healthy.
Is that your mom?
My mom.
Okay.
And you as a person can step back and evaluate that and go, that's actually wrong.
Yeah.
Like as a child.
Yeah.
And I think he did that where he went, that's actually not cool.
Yeah.
And to have that kind of fortitude to stay with.
Yes.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with my parent. It's really hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I related to him very much in his journey with his dad. Even though my journey with my mom is not like his, there's some core pieces where you learn to be a person of your word.
Yeah.
Because the person who raised you was not.
Right.
You learn ethics. Ethics are more important when you're raised by someone who's not ethical.
Right.
So
yes.
Then it's an interesting thing when you meet another person who has a similar end result where you decide not to repeat what you learned.
Yeah, you guys have a similar blueprint.
Yes, where I went, I will not be doing that.
Yeah.
Like, appreciate it, not doing that.
Thanks so much for showing me what to do or what not to do.
I'm going to pivot.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this. And he did the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, he pivoted and he went, yeah, I will not be doing that. And of course, and I'm sure he did too, slipped into those behaviors from time to time because they're so natural and you'd have to discover, wait a minute, that's actually not right. It takes such a brain. And I think once you get to that place of recognizing or actually crafting who you are, because it wasn't really crafted for you.
Wow, that's so, what a deep sentence,
It makes a different kind of person.
Yeah.
He's a different kind of person in the best way.
He really is. Yeah, I've never met anybody like him. And you guys are both such outstanding parents. And I think you both take parenting very seriously because of seeing a parent that maybe didn't. Mm-hmm. And
he's a great parent.
He's,
everything. I watch from like 30,000 feet. Yeah. Right. I watch from Instagram, and the few interactions I've had with him and his daughter like after a show or backstage or something, it's very minimal. Yeah. But it's like so apparent.
So apparent.
I
mean, they just love him so much and he loves them so much. And this story of his career, I don't think gets talked about enough, where it's like most comics, I think especially male comics, will tend to be like, if something's getting sacrificed, it's not the career, it's going to be time with my family. Yeah. And he just refused for that to be the case. And so he stayed in Minnesota this whole time in the tiny town that he was born in, and would drive like 3.5 hours to the airport, fly out, do his shows, come back, drive 3.5 hours back so that he could be with his kids during the week and not like have to move them to LA or New York, where he, I don't think, wanted to be, but would have removed them from the rest of their family. Right. And it's just like, he did that for like 20 years or something. I mean, it just a number where you can't even fathom it. And so, I think to not have a parent show up for him the way that he deserved, I think that just was so ingrained in him. Like, I will not make my kids feel the way that I was made to feel. Yeah. But
I understand. He's a great guy. Yeah. I enjoy talking to him. I loved his special. Just watched his special.
So good.
It's so good.
So good. Yeah. Empty Nester on Netflix. Go watch.
And yours is Hustler. It's on YouTube now. It's coming out on Hulu August 9th. I wanted to say 8th. I have it written right here. Yeah. August 9th. That's very exciting.
Thank you.
Well, that's not your first special.
It is my first special, actually. Yeah. So it went on YouTube just over a year ago. And when you put a special out on YouTube, especially if it's your first one, you kind of tell yourself, like, have no expectations, because YouTube, it's great in that anybody can post anything on there, but it's bad in that anybody can post anything on there. So there's like, sometimes it doesn't feel like there's a lot of glamour to it, because you're like, also like, a 7-year-old who's like learning how to like make pancakes or something for the first time can just like take his mom's iPhone and like put it on. Like you don't feel like you're in super elite company sometimes. But what's great is that if your special is something that resonates with people and people like it, people can like share the shit out of it. I think more directly sometimes than a streaming platform, right? And so it ended up getting 3 million views in its first year, which was so exciting. And again, like I had no expectations. And so then Hulu is now licensing it. So it will stay on YouTube, but it will also be on Hulu.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that must have affected your road.
Yeah.
Hugely,
I saw ticket sales go up. I was just cutting up all these clips from the special and putting it all out there. So those would start to get traction too. And yeah, it's been cool.
Why did you become a comic?
Oh man. Well, I thought I was going to be a high school math teacher.
Did you? That's adorable. I thought I was going to be a high school guidance counselor.
Oh my, I can totally see that for you.
Isn't that funny how you have this very limited experience of life?
Yeah.
And you base your future goals on your limited experience. You probably had a great math teacher.
I loved my math teachers and I wanted to teach at the high school I went to.
Of course.
That was, my mom was my high school French teacher.
Oh my God.
And it was just, I was in this like tiny town in Washington. It was such a bubble. And I was so terrified at the thought of doing anything risky. And also that just wasn't modeled to you growing up in this small town. It's like nobody going
leaves
to Hollywood. Yeah.
No one leaves, much less Hollywood. They don't go anywhere.
It was just not on my radar. And so I got halfway through college pursuing the math major and just was like hating it. It just, you get to a point where the math is so high level and you're like, I just wanted to teach like algebra 2 to kids or something.
Yeah,
but
right?
Of course they want you to know like every possible thing. And so I was just really hating it. And I switched to a broadcast production degree, which is essentially like video editing, all that stuff. And they made you take a public speaking class. And I started to turn these speeches into comedy routines, essentially. Like I just kept trying to make each one funny. And like 90% of the class were foreign exchange students because I did it in the summer and you could just tell like nobody. I was like bombing, I'm sure. But my professor was really nice and pulled me aside one day and was like, you kind of remind me of Kristen Wiig. And like you're having so much fun with these assignments that for most kids is like, they just want to get the grade and get out of here. So like you should maybe pursue something with this. And so I did the monthly like cafeteria open mic at my college, which is fucking hell on earth to like do stand up for the first time while people like have food in their mouths and like silverware is clinking. I mean, it was so brutal, but I brought some friends and it went well enough that then I was like, okay, I kind of want to do this again. And it's such an addiction.
That's so cool.
And now it's been 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah, crazy.
So you were in college when you were 10? Is that right? You look so young. 15 years.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah, I started when I was 20.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a great story.
Oh, thanks.
I always love to find out how people got here.
Yes.
It's such a specific, and I mean, for Chad, I don't know how old Chad is, but he's older than you are.
Yeah.
So there's no way for you to find stand-up. Like when I grew up,
right.
You just had to kind of stumble upon it. And the stand-up you saw was like Gallagher.
Right.
And, Gallagher played all the time. And then George Carlin would release something. But it wasn't like today where you can see someone do, like, to your point, on YouTube.
Yeah.
Your mailman can do stand-up and put it on YouTube. And it's so much more accessible.
Yeah.
It's really cool. If you think back 15 years ago, even then it wasn't as accessible as it is now. So especially from a small town. And
yeah, Dane Cook was like really exploding when I was in college. And that was the first time I was seeing it at that level where it's like, oh, he's doing like arenas. This is somebody who's acting like a rock star about stand-up. I mean, I just didn't grow up with a ton of like the Carlin and Pryor playing in my house. And I mean, Dane Cook, if you were my age when he was exploding, it just felt like, holy shit, this is unreal.
Something different. Something special.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like that again now, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's such a boom right now. And, Bert doing the Fully Loaded tour and getting a group of us out there together. It's like, because Dane was doing, what was it? Tourgasm? Yeah. It's so cool to get to be a part of anything like that where you're in front of these massive crowds and it's like people get to experience comics that they've maybe never seen before, but certainly never like all at one time. I mean, the lineups the week I was on were like truly like a fever dream. You're like, what? Like these comics are so good.
It's got crazy. Chills. Thank you for the compliments. It's just, it might be, I don't want to speak for Bert, but it might be the favorite thing we've ever done.
Wow.
Because of the community of it.
And that says something because you guys do so much.
Well, we do a lot, but we are at the heart, both of us are very community oriented. We're real. I mean, we were so inundated in our like kids' school communities because it's just kind of how we are.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, Bert had that Fully Loaded is just really special. It's really special. It's special for the comics.
Yeah.
And for the audiences, and we kind of do it for both.
Yeah.
We don't really do it just for the audiences. If that were the case, we wouldn't have taken you fishing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which was, I have to tell you, that was some of the most fun I've had in a while because it was such a unique experience. Like I don't go fishing ever. And just like the ride out, they were going so fast. I was like screaming. It was so fun. It was wild. I loved really our little group on the boat with us and Victoria and Chad. It was so fun.
Yes, we had a great group.
Yeah.
We had the like chill non-bruh group.
Yes.
We put the bruh on one boat. All the bruh,
the
Dan
cigars,
Soder,
the
Jay
whiskey,
Ogerson,
yes.
Mark Normand,
yes.
Bert. Is that all that was on his boat?
I think so. Mark's like peeing off the boat. You know, it's like it was completely different.
Yes.
Vibes on those two boats.
Yeah, they're practically like biting the fish off the hook and it's holding over their head like, nah! And we're over like 4 girls and Chad.
Yeah, like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings, just like in the teeth. That was like a frat over there.
It was like a frat boat. And then our boat was like, oh my God, I have a fish.
There's blood on my finger. I was like, so God.
Where's the blood coming from? Someone wipe it off quick. It was crazy. It was so fun though. And I know that boat ride out just was so rough that you just could only laugh.
I know he was playing, I don't know if it was like AC/DC or Zeppelin or something. He was like cranking. That guy was ready to go.
He was. You think he was going, I got the damn chick boat. I should have been on the bra boat. The bra boat had a bra captain also. They were really nice guys, actually. They were all very appropriate and nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder if he was like, damn it, I'm going to have to do so much work. And I'd try to help him. I don't know everything about fishing, but I have been fishing a lot.
When you caught a ray.
I caught a big ray. He told me it weighed 45 pounds. I don't know if it weighed 45 pounds, but it was hard to get in the boat.
We were all so impressed because we talked about you on our podcast, mine and Chad's podcast, Pretend Problems, because we were doing like a recap. And I was like, that thing was massive. It was so heavy. And LeeAnn was just like, fucking guns out, like ripping it in. And I was like, picture a suitcase that is like about to be over the checked bag limit on the end of a fishing rod. And you were just like casually pulling that out of the water. I would have broken my back.
It wasn't casual. I was fighting. I was like, I will do this. I was like willpower. And my trainer does say I'm pretty sturdy.
Yeah.
So I'm a sturdy girl. I'm not a skinny girl. I've never been. I'm a sturdy girl. So I just like hunkered down on my legs and was like, I'm getting this motherfucker in the boat. I'm doing it.
It's so much adrenaline too.
So much.
Because that guy is kind of barking at you and you feel like it's not an option to just let it go. It's like you have to, even if you like snap your wrists, you have to get the fish in the boat. To. Yeah. I thought we were going to catch like a trout. I'm from Washington. I just thought we were going to catch like some like piddly little thing. Like a crawdad.
Yeah, right.
Like I pulled a shark out. I thought I was going to die.
But your shark was huge.
It was huge.
It was huge. Now, it wasn't like 8 feet. But it was like 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah.
At least. It was at 4 feet at least, I'd say.
Yeah.
It was a big shark.
So many aspects of that I was not expecting. I was not expecting I would catch a shark. I was not expecting he would want me to then hold it. And he's like, okay, you got to pinch here, but you got to pinch hard because they do have teeth and they will bite. And I'm like, I don't want to touch this. Like, what are we doing right now? This is crazy. And so the picture, I'm like, and then I act it. And then it doesn't want to be held by me.
No.
It hates everything that's happening. And so it wriggled free from my hand. And then I had a full panic meltdown spaz and was whipping it around.
You had a tiger by the tail.
So we got good video of that. So that was fun content. But
it was awesome.
Yeah.
And then Chad caught a shark.
Chad caught a shark. Yeah.
And then Stacy caught a little bitty baby shark.
Yep.
And then I caught the big ray.
It was crazy.
It was so fun.
It was so fun.
It was so fun. The whole week. What else did you guys do? You were there for a week.
We did the Savannah Banana
that's
batting practice thing.
Yep.
We did. What else did we do? The boys had like a workout day.
Oh, that's
and I went to the hotel and slept.
Smart.
I was slowly perishing on the tour bus at night.
That tour bus. I don't know what roads we were taking. I'm sure it was the best route.
Yeah.
But it beat me half to death.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yes. Well, and like, even if you're saying you're sturdy, like we are small.
Uh-huh.
And if you're over one of those tires and like you hit a bump, I was like popcorning all over.
I know.
And I don't know if you do you know about the Oura Ring?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I got one of these recently and it like tracks your sleep and stuff. And it kept telling me that at night, because we would be driving for like 8 hours or something.
Yeah.
And it would tell me that I got like a 20-minute nap because the movement was so, it was like, what is she doing? Fucking jumping jacks at 2 a.m? Like it could not register that I was sleeping for any part of it. So that was interesting.
Mine too. I wear the Whoop. And every morning I would wake up and go, it'd say, you fell asleep at 7:30 a.m. And I was like, well, that's when we parked. Yeah. So yes, I would sleep from 7:30 to 10:30 because we had a standard everyday 11 a.m. meeting. So I'd wake up at 10:30.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it registered sleep for that like 3 hour window. Yes. I was like, I know I slept a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't
pockets.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't solid. It wasn't restful. But for some reason, I didn't really, you were there for a week. I did it for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Which is...
And probably the last couple days, I was tired. But before that, I was pretty okay.
Yeah.
And I still stayed on the bus in between. Remember, Bert and I continued on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I lived on that bus with Bert Kreischer for 3 weeks. And it was a real test because we were like, we're either going to divorce or empty nesting's going to work. Yeah. One of the two. This is the litmus. I don't know.
Is that the first time you've spent that much time together on the bus?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Last year, I was on a different bus. Oh, and then I would go visit him. And I'd spend like one night a week on the bus with him because he snores.
Yeah.
Last year, he was 50 pounds heavier. So the snoring was insane.
Wow. Good for him. I didn't realize he'd lost 50 pounds. That's
almost
amazing.
50 pounds.
Oh, my God.
And then at 50 pounds heavier, you're bigger in the bed.
Right.
So I was like on a sliver, could only sleep on one side. He wants me on the outside, and he goes to the bathroom at least once a night. So he would be crawling over me at 50 pounds heavier. It was a disaster. So I was like, I will be on the ladies bus.
Yeah.
And I will come see you like once a week.
Bye. Yeah.
But this year, we didn't have enough room. Every bus was full. So I had to sleep with him. And I was like, in the beginning going, this is, by day 3, I'm going to be like a disaster.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how much that weight loss made a difference.
Whoa.
Because his snoring was minimal. Mm-hmm. He was not taking up the whole bed. He still got up to go pee. Yeah. But he was nimble enough that he could like get out of the bed without really disrupting me.
Right.
Whereas the year before, I would practically have to get up. So he got out.
Yeah.
And then
it's like
this
you're on
year,
a plane.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then this year it wasn't like that. And it was okay. I didn't have a lot of room for my stuff. I had like a 6-inch by 4-inch section for like my medication. And 2 hooks.
That stresses me out. I have a friend who lived in Manhattan for a long time in like the tiniest studio apartments. And it truly felt like you were like in a Polly Pocket house where it's like if you bump one thing 1 inch, the whole fucking thing is going to explode. It's like everything is just so carefully balanced, and it's a lot.
It's stressful.
It's stressful.
This show is sponsored by DraftKings. In a world of slot reels and blackjack deals comes the must-play event of the summer from DraftKings Casino, featuring nonstop action and an all-star cast of games including A-Lister, Loki's Luck. This summer blockbuster is one you won't want to miss. Here's what I like to do. I like to listen to an audiobook, but I can't listen to an audiobook and do nothing. So I like to play a game while I'm listening to an audiobook. So why not play a game on DraftKings Casino? You could play blackjack, play craps, you play goddess slots, cash or nothing slots, roulette, while I'm reading or listening to an audiobook. It's my favorite way to listen to a book. So I'm a multitasker by nature, and DraftKings makes that super fun. Plus, new players can get $100 instantly in casino credits with just a $1 wager, and all players get a blockbuster bonus every week. So sign up with code WOTP and grab your popcorn. It's showtime on DraftKings Casino.
Last year, Chad did the Fully Loaded tour, but I just came to hang out and support him and just watch. And then Bert was so kind and asked if I wanted to do guest spots, which was the most incredible experience. But Chad and I thought, well, let's do the tour bus together and we'll just be in the same bunk and it'll be romantic. We'll cuddle. Never fucking again. We just did not understand what we were getting into. We're well, we cuddle at night. This will be the same. And it was like being in a coffin with somebody. Yes. Because he was on the outside. And so then I got pinned between him and the wall. And there were moments where I was this is how I die. This is how I because you can't see anything, you can't breathe. It was such a oh yeah, let's cuddle. And then in the morning we're we will never, ever, ever do that again.
Love you, but
never again.
Can't do that. I know. So I kept going, are you sure?
Yes, everybody tried to warn us. And we're no, it's fine.
We're so cute and adorable. We'll just cuddle all night long. And we were oh, that's going to be bad.
No, we did not sleep. That was brutal.
No, I don't know how you could have slept. There's no way.
We could have been he could have been inside of me. We could have been having sex but frozen. What is that? This Mormon soaking, whatever. We could have been
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Docking. Well, there's something in Mormonism where it's they think it's a loophole around having sex. And so the guy will just put his penis in and then they just won't move.
What?
This is the first you're hearing of this.
Never heard of this.
Docking or soaking, or maybe that's the same thing. But anyway.
Sounds like docking.
It's soaking.
It's soaking. Oh, are you Mormon? How did you know that?
The internet.
Oh my God. Okay. This is so funny that you have a James Bond, Charlie's Angels.
That's my Charlie's Angels box. I asked for it. Exactly.
That's
and
so
Christian
funny.
Found it. The exact Charlie's Angels box.
That scared the shit out of me. But that made me poop my pants a little bit. I was oh my God. There's somebody lurking over
What's it called? Docking?
Docking?
Soaking?
Yeah. What did you say? Docking or soaking?
Soaking.
Okay. Yeah.
Ew,
yeah.
The slimy wetness of soaking. That's even worse.
But we could have been soaking and it still would have been zero room. There was no way to do it, but we tried.
So have you started building your next hour for your next special?
I have. I've got about 20 new minutes of it. I shot the most recent one in April. And then that's in the process right now of trying to get sold to a streamer or, trying to figure out where we're going to put it out. But yeah, it's nuts. And I talked to Bert about this the last time I did Bertcast. He really opened my eyes to taking some of the pressure off of myself for feeling you need to have a brand new hour the second you're done shooting one, because you do kind of feel that pressure from the internet and people being oh, if I come, is it going to be the same things I saw on the special? And Bert does the machine and people go crazy.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know. I think he's a good example to show that sometimes people do love to hear something that they've already seen. We, of course, all need to be continuing to write new material, but I got really self-conscious for a while that I needed to have immediately a brand new hour. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't feel it was very strong. Mm-hmm. So it's people are paying money to come out and I'm putting all this pressure on myself to have it be completely new. And then I would have people come up and be oh, you didn't do any of my favorite jokes from the special. And you're oh, okay. People do still want to hear sometimes the things you've done before.
Of course.
Yeah.
When you go see Pearl Jam, you want to hear.
Yes.
They have a brand new album. You know you're going to hear some of their album.
Yeah.
But I want to hear like Jeremy. Come on.
Yeah.
Give me one or two of those too.
Yeah.
I think it applies the same music to comedy. You know, maybe not as exactly, but similarly.
Yeah, it's tough because it's like the punchlines are revealed. So it's like you can never hear a joke for the first time over again.
Yeah.
Whereas with the song, you might like fall in love with it more and more and more with time. But with comedy, sometimes not so much. But I think it depends on the person.
And it depends on the joke.
Yeah, totally.
It really depends on the joke.
Yeah. If there's like a specific delivery in it, people get so excited to just like hear you do that weird voice or like hear you do that weird act out. So.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes I know with Bert, they like to go on the ride again.
Yeah.
He's a storyteller. So they like the ride of the story. He is so many times, I know in his emails and stuff from the past, people would want him to tell the pajama story again. Like he gave me 7 pairs of pajamas one Christmas. And his dad, like this is a true story.
Yeah.
But he wrote it obviously better than I tell it. But Bert, I would open a pair of pajamas and go, it's pajamas. And then, pajamas. And then, it's pajamas. And, hold on. There's 3 more under the tree wrapped exactly like these 4. I said, you got me 7 pairs of pajamas. And then his dad was like, I thought his dad was going to have a heart attack. He was laughing so hard because he realized, well, if she wants 1, she must want 7. And then bought me literally 7 pairs of pajamas for Christmas. That's all he got me.
And did he do that unironically? Or was it as a bit?
It was completely serious.
Oh,
he was totally serious. 1 pair for each day. Right? Like you wear a different pair. It's just like his brain doesn't work like everybody else's brain. He was so excited. He does this so much with gifts that he's gotten gun shy with buying me gifts because he doesn't. He gets so excited.
Yeah.
But what person needs 7 pairs of pajamas? And they were the same pajamas in a different pattern.
Yeah.
Like he went to the Gap and went,
yeah.
Oh, there's 7 different patterns. Let's just get all 7.
All of them,
size small.
Yeah.
Wrap them up.
Yeah.
Wrap them individually. Now she has 7 presents, you know? It's like a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Shopping.
Comic
so people
brains.
love that story because it invokes in them, I think, a feeling or a moment like the song does.
Yeah.
But no, not all of his jokes and stories do that.
Yeah.
But some of them do.
Yeah.
And that's the machine obviously does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Comedy is such an interesting thing to be an observer of in the way that I get to observe it. Because I know so many of you guys that have such amazing brains. And you see the world in a beautiful, inspiring, acerbic, nasty, ugly, dirty, free, happy, positive way. It's just like this big soup of everything. And I love it because, you watch someone like Mark Normand tell you something horrible in a way that you can't help but laugh. And you go, you shouldn't say that out loud. However, that was the funniest shit I've heard all week, And then there's so many different versions of that for each comic that I get to watch.
Yeah.
That we all get to watch. The world gets to watch. But I feel like I get a special seat because I'm not a comic.
Yeah.
I have no aspirations to be a comic, but I just enjoy watching all of you guys and knowing who you are, like knowing you personally. It's cool.
Yeah, we were talking about parents earlier and, trying to see them as much as possible. And I loved that Bert's parents were there on the last day of the leg of the tour I was on. And it was Father's Day and like bringing him out and watching Bert's dad give him a kiss on the cheek, and just you could tell his parents are so proud of him, and like I loved watching them watch the show. And I think that's really great because comics, I think sometimes we feel like we have to just be jokes all the time, and like our social media has to just be comedy all the time. And I love when you get to see other comics be sentimental and
be people.
Yeah.
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 You do that very well on your Instagram.
Oh, thank you.
I think so because I see you do your podcast with Chad. I see you do a few things with Chad. I see clips of your stand-up. I see clips of you with your mom.
Yeah.
I see your cats. You have 2 cats, right?
2 cats and a dog, yeah.
And a dog? I missed the dog.
Chad had a mini golden doodle when we met, and I had 2 cats. And so we've Brady bunched our pets together.
Blended family. And is he allergic to cats?
He is.
How's that working out? Bert's allergic to cats,
Not
and I had a
awesome.
cat too. Not awesome?
Yeah, I mean, he has, if you are listening and you haven't watched Empty Nester on Netflix, you have to. And there's such a funny bit. It's like one of my favorites on the whole special about me bringing cats that he's allergic to into our house. And then I previously had thought for, God, like almost 20 years that I was deathly allergic to peanut butter. Because that's what I'd been told. I got tested, all this stuff. And so I didn't have peanut butter for almost 20 years. And then in the last month or so, got retested and learned I was not anymore and was able to have it. But peanut butter is Chad's favorite food. So for this entire like first chunk of our relationship, it's been like, you can't have peanut butter. You can't have peanut butter in the house. And so he does a great bit about me like not wanting him to bring peanut butter. And he's like, oh, how are your 2 cats doing that kill me slowly every day? Like, cool trade-off.
Same, but different.
Same, but different. Yeah. So anyway, he has like a whole bit about it.
It's very funny.
It's very funny. Yeah.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
Do you think these will be your last cats?
Oh, God. And this is funny you say that because I think about how much I love these cats and like I don't know what I will do when they're gone because I love them. I love them so much, but I also can't imagine my life without
a cat,
without pets. And pets are such a weird thing we do to ourselves because it's like we put ourselves in a position to have devastating loss at some point down the road. And you hope your pets live a long time, but that also means like, say your cat lives to be 18. That's almost 2 decades that you've had this creature with you every day. And then you lose them and have to experience that loss. And then I think a lot of people to try to like help with that, then get a new pet as something to heal. And it's like the cycle all over again. So I can't imagine not having cats after them, but like I will be unwell. I love them so much.
I have the same.
You guys have dogs and
no, we have cats also.
Oh, okay.
Bert's allergic to cats also.
Oh,
so
I've never even seen. Are they here?
No, they're not here. This isn't our house. This is our studio house. We live down the street.
Oh, got it. Okay. That's right.
We have 2 dogs and 2 cats right now.
Okay.
We had 3 dogs and 3 cats.
my
I've
gosh.
always had a cat since I was 5 years old.
Oh my gosh, I've had them my whole life.
My whole life, I don't have a sibling. I had a cat.
Okay,
always.
Yeah.
So when we started dating, I had a cat, and he's like, I'm totally allergic to cats. And I was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. This is my cat.
100%. Yeah.
We're just dating. I'm not going to get rid of my cat. I just met you, buddy. And then, of course, we're in deep in our relationship, and I'm not getting rid of my cat.
Yeah.
But my cat, his name was Mufasa.
Great name.
Died. Thank you.
Yeah.
He died right after Isla was born. Very suddenly. He was only 8 and was gone. And then for 2 years, we had no pets. And he he was traveling a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm up at night by myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am so lonely.
Yeah.
I need a cat.
Yes.
Like I need a cat for like my mental health.
Yes.
I don't know what to tell you, but I need a cat. And he was like, well, you're asking me to agree to like slowly kill myself day by day.
Yes.
And I went, I'm slowly killing myself day by day by sitting here by myself while you're pursuing your dream. And I am working a shit job and raising 2 kids and I need a fucking cat. Okay, I just need a cat.
Yeah.
So we got Gus, our cat, when Georgia was 3 and Isla was Georgia was almost 3 and Isla was almost 1.
Okay.
And Gus died last year.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
In the course of life, another cat showed up at our house, our house down the street, just showed up and was like, this looks good. And she stayed. We've had her for almost 4 years now, but we didn't actively pursue her.
Right.
And then Isla, our daughter, was having some anxiety issues with sleep. Some real serious sleep anxiety. And her psychologist wanted to medicate her. And I went, can we try something else? Like, I'm not opposed to medication, totally fine. But if we can try something natural, let's do that.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, typically kids with sleep anxiety do far better when they have a pet that just lives in their room.
Oh.
And Bert is deathly, like peanut allergy, deathly allergic to guinea pigs and hamsters. And rabbits.
Right.
That is what would live in a kid's room.
Yeah.
And it's not an option. Like I held a guinea pig one time, washed my hands with soap, drove home, switched cars. He got in the steering wheel, put his hands on the steering wheel, washed my hands with soap. and rubbed his eyes. And his eye, like the white of his eye swelled up. The pink part of his eye swelled over his eye. He was tearing and it was burning streaks down him.
My God.
It was so extreme. I was like, well, we can't have that.
People don't understand like those sort of severe allergies. Sometimes people are like, well, there's no way. And it's true. Like, I get it. Yeah,
it was, I didn't believe it.
Yep.
Until that happened. And I went, oh, hold on. None of that was happening with the cat. He would sneeze. He'd have itchy eyes. He just wouldn't touch his eyes and he'd be okay.
Right.
And every once in a while, if there was also pollen and also like ragweed and also like dust everywhere and also the cat, he'd have a bad allergy day.
Okay.
But just the cat, as long as he kept his hands off of him, he's okay. So then we got a cat for Isla that lives in her room. Now that cat is moving when Isla moves. So it's technically Isla's cat. And it doesn't live in the whole house, but he lived with Gus for 18 years.
Oh my gosh.
And now I'm going like, well, surely the outdoor cat is at least 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Frankie's leaving with Isla, and I am back to the place of having no cat.
God.
And we have these two hellhounds that are like freaking
they're
grown-ass humans.
Yeah.
You can't cuddle with them.
Yeah.
It's just overwhelming. When they try to cuddle with you, they just take over everything. And you're like, I actually would also like to eat a sandwich, okay? Can I sit here with you and just eat a sandwich? And you can't.
Yeah.
They're just like suffocate you.
It's too much. Yeah.
Cat is perfect.
They're perfect.
They're perfection.
I love them so much.
I love my cat so much. And it's really, Chad and Bert, it's really hard to be married to someone who can't love them also.
I know. And Chad does, and I get it. He doesn't want to do like Claritin or Clarinex because it's, it's putting drugs in your body. Yeah. And if you don't want to, I totally get it. But yeah, I would never want that to be like what his reaction is that it's making him have, stuffy nose, itchy eyes and stuff like that. But it is hard where you're like, I don't have kids, but these cats are like my version of kids. Like I would never just be able to be like, okay, well, I guess I'll just like
ditch them.
Yeah. It's like, it's like a, it's a responsibility.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, we have to wrap up because you have to do Something's Burning. But I could talk to you for another hour.
I know.
I have like 8 more questions I didn't get to ask you.
Oh, this was so fun.
So you'll have to come back.
Yeah.
Or I'll go whisper them to Bert and say, he'll go, I'm not asking those. That's a wife of the party question. And he's like, what are you talking to Kelsey about today? And I said, well, I have this and this and this. And this. Okay, I wanted to make sure we didn't talk about the same
overlap.
Stuff. Yeah. I was like, oh, no, I don't think wife of the party is anything like Something's Burning.
Yes.
I think they might be totally different.
That's so funny because, Chad and I have Pretend Problems podcast together. And then Chad has another podcast with his friend Cy, which is Middle of Somewhere. And we'll do that too, where like he'll have something funny happen. And it's like, okay, so what portion of that are you going to talk on that show? And what portion are you going to talk on here? And it's like, it is two completely different vibes.
It's two completely different vibes. It's really a non-issue.
Yeah.
But
totally.
But yeah. Anyway, I'm so glad you came.
Me too.
So nice
I've been wanting to do it, and so I'm glad that we were able to figure it out.
Me too.
Yeah, this was so nice.
Thank you. So, Pretend Problems is your podcast with Chad. The Hustler is on Hulu August 9th. But it's also on YouTube now, and it's not leaving YouTube. So either any of those,
either place. Yeah.
New special being edited now. Super exciting.
Thank you.
And then what's your website? How can people buy tickets?
Yeah, kelseycook.com/tour. And it's Kelsey Cook Comedy on social media. So yeah, all of it's there.
So check it out because you're so great and funny and awesome and amazing and adorable. And I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
Thank you.